That's not good. Transmission didn't shift down, motor shut off, and I had to coast into this rest area. Barely made it into this spot, waiting for a tow truck. Now, 24 hours we have been here waiting for a tow truck. We broke down over here at this O'Brien rest area on the way to Oregon last night, on our way up the hill that just past Shasta Lake. The transmission wouldn't shift down and kind of lost power, and then the motor died. And just as the motor died, I happened to spot this this rest area, and I pulled into it. And if you can see my motorhome over there, there's my motorhome. A truck was just pulling out of that spot, and I was able to coast it with no power steering right into that spot and stop it, so that I knew I was gonna have to need a tow truck. So I have enough room for a tow truck to back into it and pick it up, and we'll disconnect from our Jeep from the motorhome, and then we'll follow him. But it's got to be towed up to Medford, which is 140 miles. So he's coming from 140 miles from Medford to come here, and he should be here around 4:30, and then drive it all the way back to, sorry about that, back to the Freightliner in Medford, and then they'll fix it. It might only need what the service tech said, it might just need a software upgrade and a servicing, but it could be as simple as that. I hope it is anyway. But the tow truck, even with my insurance AAA 200-mile radius, would not cover it because it takes a big rig. So I have to go get a big rig on my own, and they will reimburse me the $1,500 for the tow. So anyway, that's where we're at now. So, and it's 105 degrees here, but the lake is beautiful. I'll have to show you the lake here. Hang on one second. This is a little part of Shasta Lake right there. Just through those trees over there is the bridge that we came over, and then the rest area. We're here in the rest area. This is our scenery in the rest area here. Nice area, nice little rest area. Little picnic tables, and it's pretty nice. There's a freeway right over there, and it was a miracle I was able to get the motorhome. It was a miracle that it broke down right at that exit coming into the rest area. When I felt the power dropping, and then I felt the motor shut off, I just swung it into the rest area. Didn't hit the brakes, because I knew if I hit the brakes I would slow and block everybody in. So I was able to coast past that truck, past the U-Haul down there, and I seen a truck pulling out, and I pulled right in. It was a miracle. Anyway, we have our generator going and the air conditioning going. We have plenty of food, so that part we're not worried about. But it is beautiful. Anyway, waiting for the tow truck now. Talk to you a little bit. There's the motorhome. That's our little spot. Yeah. Well, guess what? The tow truck finally got here. Getting ready to hook up to it right now. They got to pull the drive shaft, and then they got to pull my exhaust pipe of the generator. So I had to shut off the generator. No more air. It's about 105 out here right now. So anyway, we've been here 30 hours. waiting for a tow truck. So they're working on it now, and hopefully we'll get pulled over to the Freightliner repair shop. Man, look at that lake. Look at that lake down there. Pretty nice, huh? All right, they're backing into it now. All right. Kind of like what I do, but only bigger. Towing one of these is a lot of work. They got to pull the drive shaft, then they got to come over here, and that pipe to my generator, it might be in the way, I'm not sure. I'm hoping it ain't, so they don't have to pull it off. They have to pull my mirrors in. There's a lot to this versus my what I do. And that drive shaft, my God, that drive shaft had to weigh 50 pounds or better. And then they got to hook up the air hose from their truck to the front of this. When they push in their brakes, it releases my air brakes on the motorhome, and then they can start their tow. Pretty cool setup. All right, they got the wheel lift on it now. They're strapping it down and getting ready to. We'll be out of here in about another 5 minutes. We'll be ready to rock and roll. That baby's on there. Yeah, they're working on it. I would not want to do their job. That's hard work. That guy was sweating so bad. I just hope they can fix it. 7 hours later, we're pulling into the dealership here. We gotta drop it. Hook up the muffler to the generator, and so we can run the generator tonight. Dealership or the shop here will put the drive shaft in. Anyway, what an ordeal. We finally made it to our first campground on our vacation after our breakdown. We are at Cave Junction is where we're at. And that's right on here on the river. I'll show you the river. But anyway, we made it. It's a beautiful little park. It's not a very big park, but it's a pretty park. Anyway, I'll show you the river. Anyway, this is we're backed up to the Illinois River right here in Oregon. It's called Cave Junction. Anyway, pretty nice. Nice to see greenery, and it's nice and cool. We're on our way to Brookings. We should be hitting Brookings today sometime. Well, while we were walking on this beach, I thought I'd talk a little about our breakdown. Once we got over to the Freightliner dealership, and they run all those diagnostics on the motorhome. Well, after about 6 hours, they still couldn't find anything at $160 an hour. I decided to talk to the manager, and the manager came down, and I said, let's use some common sense here and start going wherever things I did. And I told them that I changed the fuel filters before I left on the trip, and I might have put the fuel filters on wrong. So long story short, he said, well, we could try that. So anyway, they took off the fuel filters I put on and put on new fuel filters, and then ran the fuel pressure test on it. And guess what? Ron put the fuel filters on wrong. That was an expensive lesson. It was like $2,200, 15, let's see. It was over $2,200 anyway. So luckily the transmission wasn't bad. There was nothing wrong with the motor. I just put the fuel filters on wrong, and it was sucking air. So that was a very expensive fuel change for me. But anyway, we're on the road again, and we just washed that behind us and not even worrying about it. AAA more than likely will reimburse us the $1,500 back. Oh, I just stepped in the mud. For the tow. And as for the repair bill, they knocked off a couple of $100 off the diagnostics, just because I told them earlier they should check the fuel filters, and they didn't. They have certain guidelines they go by at these dealerships. They're not like an auto repair shop where they say, hey, let's try this, common sense stuff. No, you have to go 10 steps this way and eliminate all those 10s, and then start on the next 10 steps, which does not make sense, but that's the way they were trained. And it was quite expensive for the guy who has his motorhome towed to him. So anyway, we made it, and we're enjoying the rest of our vacation right now, and the motorhome's running good, and I'm not changing fuel filters no more. I'll let the oil change place do it. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. And all you can do is laugh about, you gotta laugh about things like this. You can't get all upset. And I'm one that can get upset real fast, but I made it a point not to get upset and to make a big deal out of it and make everybody else upset. So I decided, let's roll with the punches and see how it goes. And it turned out to be okay for a change. So anyway, now we got to hike up this secret trail and get back up to the Jeep. Thanks again.